deixar acontecer de forma tão natural. O que é bom vai chegar pra você. É só sintonizar. Me sinto leve sem saber porquê. E se me perguntar, eu não vou saber te dizer. Só não para, seja como for, seja você mesmo e não para.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Chec Box, episode 14. We are here with a very familiar face. What's going on over here, Purple? Kicking bottles under the table?
I do what I do.
We are here
What's good?
with a very familiar face. You guys recognize her. This is Mel, also known as Intuitive Vibes from episode 7.
Give it up. Give it up.
What's good?
I'm so happy to be back. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
Yo, you were a fucking hit. You
Good
were a
look
fucking
for coming
hit. Episode 7 was amazing. If you guys have not checked that out, episode 7, polyamory, where she took us through her transition from monogamy to a polyamorous love style. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. It was an hour and a half of straight insight. We were all intrigued. People we got amazing feedback from that episode.
It's actually our most viewed video with 300 plus, so we want to thank y'all for that.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank
Awesome
you.
shit, man. Numbers, you feel me? That episode was fun, man, and
It was really fun.
you left us. You went on a little trip to Asia. Not a little trip, but
I went on a big trip.
yes.
Yeah, how long was that?
I went for 2 months to Asia.
Mm.
8 whole weeks.
8 whole weeks.
That's
8 whole weeks, a
insane.
little bit more than 2 months. So it was amazing. I went to Thailand, Singapore, Bali, and a few little other islands surrounding these places. And it was amazing. I'm
Straight
excited
on.
to talk about it.
Honestly speaking, I do want to talk about it, but I want to mention, I was looking at your story. Every day, it was like a desktop post.
yeah.
I swear to God, it was like a wallpaper
Something,
that
yeah,
belonged
yeah.
on the fucking computer
Yeah, for
screen.
real.
I'm like, yo,
Must be
she...
nice.
Seriously, I'm like, yo, she's literally in paradise. Like, she is where all these fucking millionaire posts on Instagram, all these pages and shit, all these motivational shit, like, she is exactly where they
Yeah.
post the flicks of. Like, it was breathtaking, literally. Like, nearly every single one of your posts. I was taken away by them,
You can
man.
find them on Google.
No, seriously, it was amazing.
Seriously.
See her just...
I went to go visit Melissa when she got back just to just hear about her trip. Because again, we were all following her on IG. Her story was, her stories were just insane. I wanted to hear about it. And yeah, all those breathtaking pics, they were not easy. You told me that they were not easy at all to get to. Tell us a little bit about those, about those adventures. Like, how did you get to those places? Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Whew. Well, first of all, I'm happy that you guys can feel the energy that was being transmitted through those photos, because if you guys were breathtaking, you cannot imagine how I felt to be there in person. Most of the most beautiful pictures that I took was in Nusa Penida, which is the sister
spell that?
island. Nusa Penida. I don't even know if I'm
He needs to know
pronouncing
that
that
for
shit
some
right, but
For the editorial.
do you really want me to spell it out?
Please
Okay.
don't.
It doesn't matter.
So, Nusa Penida is the sister island of Bali.
Uh-huh.
It's just a ferry ride away. But when I arrived to Bali, I was a little bit overwhelmed with all of the tourists, and I found that I kept wanting to escape and be by myself and deeply immersed in nature. So I found myself in Nusa Penida, and it was so magical. Definitely not as many tourists there. You'll have more of a local experience. So to get to all the places on Nusa Penida, first of all, though, those roads are the craziest roads I've personally ever experienced in my life. You know, I know that there exist worse roads, but it felt like earthquakes just ripped through all those roads.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just on the back of a motorbike the whole time.
Yikes.
With my friend Katu, that I love.
Shout out to Katu.
Shout out to Katu, even though he wouldn't understand nothing of what we're talking about. But, my Balinese friend, he was my taxi. And basically the places were like an hour away or an hour and a half away. And when there are multiple different places I could tell you guys about, but basically in Nusa Penida, if you want to get to the beautiful places, you have to fucking work for it.
Yeah.
So, I went on some really scary hikes. that were really breathtaking, left me speechless, but they were difficult. And, you know, a little dangerous. Sometimes I was in some dangerous
Gotta be risky.
situations.
Gotta be risky.
Yeah,
course. It's more fun that
and
way.
for
Yeah.
me, it was very empowering because I was alone and a woman and in a place that I don't know, where I don't know anyone, and I was just going for it, you know. And then I ended up being secluded and having the places to myself usually, or with very little people. So it was really amazing.
And that's something for me that, you know, I have a couple of friends. You're definitely one of them. I have a friend, Will, that, you know, not a lot of people are going on vacations on their own, like our age, you know, and it's, you know, for me, I always found this something intimidating, but it is an empowering thing to go on vacation alone and have a place to yourself and be like with nature by yourself. And in a place so fucking gorgeous like that, I can just imagine. Imagine.
How do you maneuver through like places, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you said you just kind of let yourself, you went deep, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of explored.
How'd you find your way?
How'd you find a way back? Like,
Yeah, how the fuck do you maneuver through that shit? Like, confidently and comfortably. You know what I'm saying? Because in the back of my head, I'm like, yo, I'm just be bugging out. You know?
When if like the sun like goes down and like, oh shit,
yeah,
I gotta like, you know.
I
Like,
mean, by myself, if I'm with people, I would enjoy it. But by myself, I'm like, holy shit. Like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, you have to basically be present in the moment. I didn't know any of the shit I was gonna do. I arrived in Thailand and I didn't know where I was staying. So
That's crazy.
I literally didn't have anything planned except for my course. I did the bodywork training.
Which we're definitely gonna talk about.
And other than that, I didn't have anything planned. And everything always synchronized and aligned for me in the most, guys, for real, like my mind is blown, still blowing from how much things just fell into place, you know? And it's just, I did research a lot, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I spent a lot of time putting into Google a bunch of different questions that I had.
That's smart.
About what though? Like
about basically a lot of the things. Well, I wanted to find these secluded places, so a lot of the times I was writing like, you know, most secluded places in Bali or Nusa Penida or Thailand or wherever I was, and like reading a lot of people's experiences and what they did and how they got around or what they would have done differently and their feedback about it. So it was a lot of research, and also just a lot of trust. And there is a certain level of confidence you have to have in yourself, you know, to go through things like that.
Definitely.
yeah, because I'm thinking here, like, you're literally halfway around the world. You had nowhere to sleep. Like, I'd be going nuts. I don't. Not that I wouldn't know how to contain myself, but like, that's wild. Like, kudos to you, bro. That's beast. Like,
yeah,
that's what's up.
one thing she mentioned, you know, being present in that moment. So like, for example, you were talking about how you doing a same trip like that, taking that little trek out like an hour to get to this specific location would be better with more people, kind of thing. That's such a common thing for all of us. Like, for example, for me, I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the things like that makes me apprehensive to go on vacation by myself, because I enjoy the company of others. I enjoy I feed off of the company of others. I feed off of other people's excitement and enjoyment, and it validates.
It helps me. It helps, like, as far as traveling goes.
Right.
I feel like when I go over there, when I go anywhere and I go with people, it just, the excitement of it, and I just feel like being with somebody, it helps me bounce ideas around. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm with somebody, it's kind of like, all right, yo, what do you think about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just super exciting, and I feel like when I'm with somebody else, it helps me get even better fucking ideas, right? Because people say shit, sometimes it be stupid shit, dumb shit, random shit, and then you be like, yo, all right, but that kind of fits with something like this, and make you think of something, some other shit, you feel me? I don't know, I just, that's how ideas and creativity works for me. I mean, of course I could be creative by myself, but it depends on how confident I am going into something, you know? So if I'm confident into going to something, then I'll be all right, but I love being with somebody else and being able to bounce ideas off each other and just be like, yo, how far can we fucking go?
And it also validates memories too. Like,
it does.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, so that's the one thing. But on the flip side, being alone, learning how to be alone and learning how to enjoy your own company, that's something that's different. Yeah. That's a little bit different. That's not common. That's something that I want to touch on a little bit later on.
I'm not gonna lie, like,
lifestyle wise.
If we're gonna talk about it, then I'll just mentioning over there. But I do
for
have a question for you. So, You said, you got there, you wanted to be alone immediately. Was there ever a point where you wanted to be like with your wife or someone, or just someone else? Like, just did you ever want someone else's company to enjoy that moment with, or it was just like, nah, I want this all for myself, kind of thing?
No, guys. I really realized on this trip though that you're just never alone. You're just never alone for real though. Like for real.
Until you were alone.
Even when I was alone though.
You got the monkeys down your back and shit.
I felt the
That was crazy.
pulsation of
Fucking monkeys,
everything,
man.
But for most of the time that I was in Thailand, because I was there for most of my time, I was there for like a month and a half, and I was doing body work every day. So I was receiving body work and I was giving body work, and I was being touched every day and touching people every day. And this is a beautiful experience, but for me, it got kind of overwhelming because I was with people all the time, even though I was alone. And there was a lot of training involved and everything. Right. And then, I made friends out there, That's the thing.
Yeah,
like, I made actual
connecting.
connections.
It's connections, yeah.
And I made memories with these people, and they're so special to me. But by the time at the end of all of that, I needed my space to process, which is what I feel like I needed. And I wanted deeply to feel what you just said, like, but by myself. Like, I wanted to see how far can I go by myself. How courageous am I? And how much trust do I really have to go to a place and not know anything, not know the language, and not even know where I'm staying, not know what I'm doing, not know anything, and how can I just surrender to that?
And coming out of it is just like,
man.
Yo, yeah.
Like,
I can imagine.
guys,
that.
seriously, it was magical. Like, things happened during my trip that
I need to
it's
have,
like it's one after the other after the other after the other. Is just complete synchronicity, where some of the things there's so many times where I was just crying. Like when I was in Nusa Penida and I hiked my ass off, like the scariest hike, and then got to the most gorgeous place that literally my breath was taken out for me.
If you can give us that picture, we're
crying.
totally gonna put this on the video and stuff like that.
Yeah, that moment,
Do a little montage.
like
I'm trying to see this.
I was staring into the space, and I was just in awe. I don't think I've ever felt that much gratitude in my life. Like guys, for real, the feeling of gratitude was pulsating in every one of my cells. I was just
Is that gratitude
crying.
for just being alive, or just for
Being
being
able to
here,
experience that?
being able to
Yeah,
be there?
gratitude
Or is it just
for
everything?
everything, man. Because by the end of my trip, right, like I already had all these amazing experiences with the training and the people I met and everything I learned. And then to top it all off, I went into these beautiful, secluded places in nature. And so I was there. I was taking in the scenery, taking in the landscape, which by itself already transcended me. And then I was just reflecting back to the last 2 months that I had, and it was just bringing me to tears, Like, it's impossible to not feel that much gratitude. I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible. Yeah. For me, it's impossible.
That particular moment, was that when you were seeing the Milky Way? Was that the Milky Way one?
What?
Because that Milky Way
galaxy.
picture, you can see kind of like the
That was
cross
fucking
section
crazy.
of like the Milky Way from like.
Nah,
I don't know if you've ever seen
This is a
that.
nighttime
I-
picture we're
This
talking
is
about, right?
yeah. This was
Okay.
totally a
Yeah.
nighttime picture.
Yeah.
I believe it was a photographer friend that had taken it for you. Absolutely magic. I mean, it was like it was just. I mean, again, it was one of those picturesque Windows desktop kind of
It looked
things.
photoshopped.
Absolutely,
I did see
And
absolutely.
I
it
think I
wasn't,
saw it,
guys,
yeah.
and just that picture, you guys have to put it up.
We were.
Because that picture was not photoshopped. He actually edits his photos, but that was a raw photo. He sent it to me from his
He's a
camera
nature
to my
photographer,
phone.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say,
incredible.
where was that one taken? That was in Thailand?
That was in Nusa Penida.
Nusa Penida?
You gotta
That
fucking
night
Nusa
was
Penida place,
crazy.
man.
No, because I remember the astronomy class. We saw that we talked about that place.
Yeah.
But I forgot where it was.
Well, there are a
that
couple
was
different
at.
because I know Hawaii
There's
you
a
can
couple-
also see it
Hawaii
as
was the
well.
one that we saw the
Hawaii you
picture
could
from,
also
yeah.
see it. I think in different countries you could
You can
see
see it from different
as well.
places. Yeah, I didn't know that was one. That's
Yo,
crazy.
imagine seeing something like that with the naked eye. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
that's why it's
You-
wild.
You can see the Milky Way pretty much everywhere. It's just depending on the
Light
season and the
pollution,
light
right?
pollution and
Well,
like,
Yeah, the light
what time of
pollution.
year it is and
Big,
everything.
big
Central.
thing.
Yeah, you can see it here in New York if you go to.
I see it sometimes when I go home too at night. When I park my car, I can see the stars because I'm like in the woods where I am now. But yeah.
Type shit. So you mentioned pollution really quick, and I think during right. So during my admiration, I guess, of your stories, I saw that you posted. I think you were in Thailand. They sort of burned the forest, if I'm not mistaken, or they burned something that sort of made the air like a yellowish tint. Am I saying it correct? Like, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because when I read that, I'm like, I didn't even know this even happened. I don't even know.
I didn't know either. Yo. I did not.
Because I saw
You're
the
ready
picture.
for like this, like to breathe.
That was the only. Yo, that was literally that was like the most negative photo she posted, bro. Right. Her whole trip. So it kind of like that stuck with me. I was like, damn, like she's having such a fantastic time, and then boom, this bullshit happens. Like I know she tight. But so what was that exactly?
Well, when I arrived there, some people that live in Thailand told me that they were leaving Thailand because it's burning season. And I was like, what the fuck is burning season? I didn't know what burning season was, you know. So they told me that it's when the farmers do agricultural burning. So they're burning the crops around the surrounding mountains, but they're also burning plastic. They're burning the garbage. And also there's wildfires. So because it's wintertime there, well, it's transitioning. So it's dry season. So the thing is, Chiang Mai, the city that I was in, is in a valley, and there's surrounding mountains. So around the surrounding mountains, it's all that burning. And because it's dry season, it didn't rain since November. And I was there in February and March is the worst time. So progressively, it got worse over the weeks that I was there, and I was there during peak burning season. Chiang Mai actually got awarded the most polluted city in the world while I was there. While I was there.
Being a part of that.
Yeah, it was very intense, guys. I would open up the door in the morning and I could barely see the sun because it was just smog.
How did you breathe?
And at some point, I couldn't breathe. And I had to wear a mask. So because I was riding my bike every day, so I rode my bike from where I was staying to the course or everywhere. So, you know, like I had to wear a mask, and people got sick too, you know, like I was getting a headache. I couldn't really think. I was lethargic. Yeah. It really wasn't a good experience.
No, I know that is like an agricultural practice, so that's been done for like, you know, many years, that they would burn the crops. Yeah, it's a very old way of like, you know, refertilizing the ground and stuff like that. It really does.
The problem is the plastic.
The plastic is, no, I didn't know that they did the plastic as well. Like that's just shitty.
Yeah, but actually the agricultural burning is a very outdated practice.
It is.
And
it's very archaic.
Yeah, it's not good for the environment at all. So, you know, I'm just sending some good energy to them and hope that they can find a better solution because basically the smog gets trapped in Chiang Mai until it starts to rain again.
And then it comes down on you as acid rain.
Hey.
Yeah.
I heard about that in third grade. I know that's random, but like some kid did like a science project on acid rain, and it scared the shit out of me for a long time.
Yeah, I know acid rain. Acid rain comes with some, the water vapor, and then like all the chemicals just like,
that's crazy.
Dissolve in solution.
Did they smoke a lot? I feel like because I was having a conversation with one of my boys who actually backpacked Asia from November to January, and he was like, "Yo, bro." He was going through a pack a day himself.
Oh wow!
Basically, like he visited all over Asia. Like he literally took planes to different places. So like, how was that? Like, were people just smoking bogues all day, every day around you, or
no?
Maybe
actually.
maybe not the people you were with. Being that, you know what I'm saying. I'm not sure if body workers smoke because you feel me. Like
no, I don't know. I didn't really notice that so much, especially in Singapore. Yo, you get like fucking your head chopped off for smoking in Singapore.
That was really interesting.
Singapore is a really bizarre place.
Really?
Is it?
The fucking real estate market over there is insane.
They are really rich.
Singapore is like it's like a free market capitalist wet dream. No regulation.
Yo, bro, real estate is
it is
nuts over there.
You can do whatever you want, business wise.
Really, business wise. Well, anything else wise, you cannot.
Yeah. She was telling me about all the like the rules and shit, like compared to like all the other places. Tell us about that. Tell us about
please. I want to hear about that.
Can you imagine? I was in Thailand. I was in Chiang Mai. You know, it's a very free city. A very spontaneous city, at least in my opinion. And, you know, it's a little rugged.
This was Thailand, right?
This is Thailand and Chiang Mai. Yeah. You know, it's a little rugged. Like, there's no sidewalk. Yeah. Basically, for you to cross the street, you have to just walk your ass across the street and, like, make everybody stop the car. Wow. But they do it happily. You know, they stop and they're whatever, and you go. But then after that, I had a little break in between my course. So I went to Singapore to the Singapore Zouk Festival.
Hey.
And Singapore was like the complete fucking opposite of Chiang Mai. It's a very efficient city, very organized, the cleanest city I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
The
Wow.
architecture, yeah, it's like insane. It's
I'm not
insane.
surprised at all.
But everything is illegal there. Everything. Everything is illegal. Yo, chewing gum is illegal there.
You lying.
Nah.
I swear on my life, yo.
Gum is like
You guys
coke?
need to look this shit up. This is real. Yes. Chewing gum is illegal. Like, you can go to jail for up to 2 years for smuggling gum into the country.
That's nuts.
2 years for
Niggas
smuggling.
big as a
Yo,
bar,
it's
bro, trying to
illegal
go to
to
the
not
bathroom.
flush the toilet.
You got.
It's illegal.
In
It's
honor
like a
in honor
law.
of Singapore, let's pass around the illegal contraband here.
Oh,
We tried it. We thugging out.
Singapore.
Oh, I got some 5 on me too.
Yo.
And
That's
I
insane.
I
That
didn't
is so
believe that. I didn't believe it.
That's wild, so-
But
Did
it's
you
a
test the
real
waters?
thing.
Did you chew some gum?
No, I'm not trying to get
I would've.
fucking caned. Yo, they literally will
I would have been
cane
like,
you out there.
yo, what up?
So what's the caning situation?
Yo, what up?
What is caning?
They whip your ass with the cane.
So they have police officers out there that if they see you doing some shit,
Sounds like a whip.
that's
No,
like,
no, no.
oh,
They're not about to like just cane you on the street.
Oh.
It's like you go through the legal system and they could sentence you to being caned.
oh, it's not like
That's
a street
awful.
justice thing. It's
Nah,
like it's
nah,
like
nah,
a
nah.
process.
And break your bones and shit.
No, like whip your ass with the cane. Like
That shit'll break a bone.
that will rip your skin and like make
Yeah, I
you
don't think it'll break
bleed.
your
I don't know.
That's
about break your
crazy,
bone.
bro.
If it's-
Wait,
if
what
it's- if
time?
it's like
How
a
many times they
baton.
hitting you?
I don't know.
Not gonna
Well,
hit your bone.
I don't know if you guys ever
a
remember
whip?
this. No, it's a cane. I honestly
nice
don't know.
stick.
I
She's never
didn't
got
know
caned.
that any of this shit existed for real.
Cane, I'm assuming some hard shit to break your foot.
I don't know. I just
Yeah,
know
that shit
that
hurt.
it's like
It's
some
not a
torture
punishment.
type of shit.
That's
You
fucked
know?
up. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a video of that and check out.
No,
what
you
caning
see-
Yeah,
is.
let's not put a
Yeah,
video
I don't
of
know.
people getting caned.
I want to.
This-
I'm
I-
curious.
I know you. Yeah, I know you are,
Shit.
motherfucker. Be watching your damn self on your own time.
All right.
You know
that.
I know the viewers want to see. Okay, never mind. Anyway, so you mentioned that you were what you call it? You went to Singapore for a Zouk conference. Was
Festival.
that festival?
Zouk festival.
Conference? Oh, something like that. Yeah. How was that?
It was dope. It was really dope. I had a good time.
Yeah.
I danced a lot. I was very tired, and it was that. It was that. Singapore was cool. I feel like the festival itself was cool, but I kind of wanted to leave Singapore.
Gotcha.
You know, it wasn't.
I mean,
I'm not knocking Singapore though. Singapore is a beautiful city. I feel like if
you
any
said the
urban,
cleanest city, I kind of want to go there and just see,
you just
see
you
what
just
Yeah.
can't
that's
chew
all about.
gum.
How long
Test it out.
nah, it's like
How sanitized are you really?
it is very sanitized.
Nah, I really want to
Yo,
see that. I would really love to see that.
Bro, it's
I would really
illegal.
love to
It's
see
like
that.
against the law to not flush a toilet.
What's
How
going
can-
on over there?
Oh, you
bro?
mentioned
Like,
also
how do you
the
prove
naked,
that?
being naked in your own house.
Yes, it's
You
illegal
can't
to be
be-
naked in
you
your
can't
own
be
house.
naked in your own house.
It's illegal to jaywalk. What else?
It's illegal to jaywalk
It's
over there,
illegal
too.
to like smoke near anything, basically. So
What can you
So you
do?
can't-
that's what I'm saying. Like
You know what's
I don't
funny
know.
too? Singapore is
Live?
ranked
Is it
like
legal to
from
live?
from an economic standpoint is ranked number 1 in the entire world.
I believe that.
Yet on a social level, you can't chew gum. Like that's the most funny, like the most ironic thing. I've
Maybe
ever
that's
heard
the
of in my
price
life.
of.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
that's
I think
the price.
It is, no, I think
you
it
know?
is the price of that economic freedom.
That's
It is.
hysterical.
Yo, cribs
It
up
is,
there be going
though.
for like 21 million. That's like regular money. That
I
shit
own a
crazy.
couple.
Well, basically,
I mean,
Singapore.
what is GTA 5, right? Not 4, it's 5. Yeah, I don't think you can own cribs in 4. Oh yeah, you got the online. That's 5. Yeah,
So
GTA
shit.
5. You got GTA 5. You gotta have like a Lambo and a Bugatti too, right?
I got all that, bro.
Facts.
I got all that.
No, just what was I saying? Singapore. Man, I don't even know.
This nigga
Damn
perp.
it, HP. What the fuck?
What's going on over here, man?
What?
This
Oh,
guy's talking about
fuck.
GTA.
I forgot. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Singapore, the gun.
Singapore.
Basically, I don't know what it is. A president, prime minister. I don't know. The owner of Singapore basically said
For lack of better
that
terminology.
ain't nobody gonna be plastering their fucking gum
Gum
in my
on
city.
everywhere.
Makes
You know,
sense.
because
I hear that.
somebody
Makes sense.
threw their gum on the floor, and then he was like,
Fuck all that.
"Fuck that, we're banning gum." And then that's it.
When?
Yo, they don't even have it at the 7-Eleven. Yo, that's so weird.
7-Eleven
Imagine
over there?
they have 7-Eleven. Yo, they have 7-Eleven everywhere. 7-Eleven is
Do
everywhere.
they got
Have
taquitos?
What?
They got
Those are
taquitos
wavy.
at the 7-Eleven there?
No, they have some other shit.
y'all disgust
But they
me.
didn't have gum. They just had a whole big ass row of mints.
Yo, speaking of food though,
I'm
food
starving.
is so
yeah, yeah,
important.
yeah,
How is the
yes,
food?
yeah.
How is the food
Yes,
across
yes,
these
yes.
countries?
I wanna hear it.
Like,
That is super
Tell me
important.
just pulling leaves and shit.
That is super important.
right off the tree.
It was amazing. Thai food is delicious. Thai coconuts are so good.
Ooh, I love coconuts.
Oh my god, I was having like 3 coconuts a day.
Wait, they have is that like, they have like coconuts, is that like a common thing over there? Or?
Yeah.
Holy
like,
shit.
It's so delicious.
Yeah, I love coconuts.
Nah, me too.
I
That
love
shit sounds
coconuts.
I
fire.
fucking love
too.
coconuts. Yeah, I would have been going crazy.
I was going crazy.
Yeah, I would've gone-
It was
Thai
delicious.
coconuts.
But the Balinese ones,
So Thai coconuts, not Balinese.
the Balinese coconuts,
They're
I
whack.
mean, I don't know.
They're putting us
They
on
were-
to the game.
like-
See, this is the type of info I need.
Exactly.
feel me?
Don't drink a Balinese coconut. I mean, no offense to Balinese coconuts.
Uh-oh.
No offense to Balinese
opinionated.
coconuts.
You're gonna get
I'm
a bunch
just
of
saying.
I have yet to have
Coconuts now.
one, so okay. I guess
I'm
my
just
first
saying
one won't be
that's kinda
Balinese.
sour.
I'm gonna try it. I'm interested in the Balinese coconut still.
You should do it. I mean,
Coconut
live your life.
connoisseur.
Yeah,
That ass.
You know,
live your life.
I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
HB the coconut connoisseur.
I'm just saying, like, it's kind of sour, and it just doesn't have
A
like
sour
a.
coconut?
I don't know. It just doesn't taste right. I don't know.
But
It'd be like that, but the rest of that food though.
The rest
was
of the food was
good.
delicious. It was really delicious.
Yeah.
It was
Wait.
very cheap. You know, I was having some food for like $1 or $2 a big ass meal.
That's what's
American
up,
dollars,
bro.
though?
That's what's
Or
up.
is it-
American dollars.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
2 beans.
I like eating on the cheap.
2
man.
beans.
well, wait, we're
Those
so,
beans.
Since do they have like? This is a random question. Now I'll get off the random tangents. Fucking, do they have like special like coconut desserts or anything like that?
Yes, they did. Oh, my god.
God.
It was so good. They had like very delicious different kinds of desserts. They also had like scorpions and shit.
Oh.
Would you guys eat a scorpion?
Nah.
Oh, wait,
I
like
would-
coconut
whoa,
scorpion?
I would do it like if
Like
it was
real
like
scorpion?
deep fried.
Real ass scorpions.
With coconut
Where are
flakes?
the pictures?
Like deep fried, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll put
fried.
it up.
Oh, fried.
Fucking
No, it's
fried
if
that
like
shit.
you know, if it's like like sketchy. I mean, I was
Because
thinking
I
I
wanna
want to
get into that
it's
too,
fried. You know,
They were just like a row of
not eating
scorpions,
that.
like
On a stick.
skewer
On a stick.
sticks.
Did you eat one?
On a skewer
Did I eat one? No, but Nick did, and I watched that whole show and recorded the whole thing, and it was
Wait,
like an experience, you
How
know.
was the flavor? The dish?
He said that it was crunchy,
No, I mean,
but he didn't really describe the flavor so much. He said it was alright.
yeah, he was lying for the camera. That's why he wanted to throw it up.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't eat a scorpion, but
nah, but that's
it was a fun experience to watch him eat it.
that's so dope though.
That
That's so
sounds
dope.
wild, to be honest. I mean, I
Sounds terrible.
Nah, I'm just really happy you did that trip and you just experienced that. You got to really the next segment. I really want to talk about your body work, like what you do. You know what your career is. You know, really working with other people, working, and I see you a lot like with yourself as well. And I think both of those things are very important in what you do. And just expand on that and what you learned in on your trip, how you expanded on that. But first, how you got into it. So we're gonna start that next segment, and yeah.
Yeah, you heard it from Alec, man. I'm gonna have. Oh, by the way, all of these songs except for the closing one, you know what I'm saying, is from this mind over here.
Yes.
All right, y'all already know, man.
Dança pra mim, vem. Assim você vai me complicar. Não vai dar pra só te ver dançar. Chore até esquecer o motivo. Depois me ligue pra contar que aquilo tudo não faz mais sentido. Contigo ainda quero estar. Preciso do seu amor. Preciso do seu Só você sabe quem eu sou. Só você sabe Outra vez com você, pra poder perceber tudo que a gente pode ser. Ainda temos tempo, bem distante do fim. Trago você perto de mim.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the Checkbox. Once again, that was Jealous by Fireboy DML. And for those joining us, welcome to the Checkbox. We have a familiar face back on set. Mel, what is going on?
What's poppin'?
How are you?
I'm doing
Pleasure.
great.
Well, pleasure to have you back. Pleasure to have you back. Quick reminder, guys, do not forget about the giveaway we got going. It is a collaboration between us and Nessa CX Beauty. 2 lucky winners can win a Bulldog Skincare for Men grooming kit It includes some beard oil, a nice beard comb, some facial wash, some face lotion, all of that good stuff. I actually use the products myself, so it's pretty good. And then a James Charles Morphe palette from the Nessa CX Beauty side of things, guys.
Apparently, that's highly coveted. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of good things about them. Also, guys, here's the directions. Really quick instructions. Go to the Checkbox story. You're gonna see this post. All we need you to do is repost on your story with the hashtag TCBXNB giveaway, and for an extra, basically to put your name in the ballot twice, subscribe to us on YouTube, Nessa CX Beauty, and at the Checkbox. You already know what it is, and then we will announce the winner May 15th via an IGTV post.
For those subscriptions, just make sure you DM us a screenshot.
Yes.
You can DM the Checkbox, the
Checkbox,
screenshot
yep.
of just like both of those subscriptions for that second entry. All right. So
Sorry
good luck,
about that. I
guys.
missed that part.
No, you valid.
Word. So for those joining,
Figure it the fuck out.
I know, right? So for those joining us now, we have gone over Mel's trip to Asia. Okay, she was giving us some insight as to how the trip was. We ended out with food. You mentioned how your boy Nick ate some scorpions.
He did.
Pasao.
Oh my
Se
god!
pasó.
It was a crunchy
Se
texture
pasó.
too, man.
Yeah.
That's
Crunchy.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not
Fuck
sure
it.
if I can do that.
Living on the fucking edge. Yeah,
But-
that's it.
Living it up.
We're gonna get into the reason why you went on this beautiful trip, and that was for what you call body work, okay? Because to my knowledge, you're a massage therapist. Yeah. So how about you tell us how you got into this whole massage therapist industry, and then what basically led you to take this trip to Asia to enhance your work?
And what body work consists of.
Yeah.
Use the spiel.
This is a really meaningful topic for me. So I feel really happy to have the platform to speak about it. I get asked this question often. So I've been able to narrow it down because there's so many reasons I feel like I was guided towards doing this kind of work. But I think one of the most impactful things was my own family. And I have healers in my family. They don't call themselves healers, but they do facilitate healing for people in a way that really blew my mind growing up. Because it was, well, my grandmother and my aunt specifically have a very deep connection to whatever you want to call it, whether it's God, universe, the divine source of all that is.
Quick, is that the Dominican side of your family?
The Dominican side of my family.
Figured that.
And they've been able to attune themselves to this energy that allows them to create a space for people for them to heal. And you know, when you're growing up and you're seeing things that you've been taught that's impossible, but you're seeing it in front of your eyes, it really makes you curious about what are we missing?
Yeah.
What are we missing? Because the medical industry has become so westernized and is very useful. I'm not knocking it. I really do believe
I thank you for like acknowledging that it does, you know,
Yeah,
do something. Because a
it
lot of people are
does.
just like all or nothing when it comes to it. And it's not.
I feel like the
Serves a
important it serves a complete purpose, and I'm grateful for it. You know, there's certain things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. So that's definitely a really important point that I want to point out. But my feeling is that we've become imbalanced with it because we've only seen that perspective now
I agree.
to the
Yeah, I
point
agree
that
too.
we see anything else as impossible, and not only impossible but as like
Weird.
quackery.
Yeah, we become xenophobic towards any sort of other alternative.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
And you know, so my grandmother prayed, and I have my godmother that she would even be able to speak about this experience. She had lupus, an autoimmune disease that is basically your body is
defeating you.
allergic to itself, you know, and there's no cure. And it got so bad one time that she was desperate, and she asked my grandmother, okay, fine, pray for me. And she prayed for her, and ever since that day, she's been lupus free. That was more than 25 years ago plus.
How
Okay.
interesting.
There's other situations like this that happened where my aunt, there was a lady that had cancer, was about to get a double mastectomy the next week, and She also, was like, I don't know what to do. I'll try anything at this point. My aunt did whatever she does, and she went the next day for her surgical prep, and the tumors were gone. So they canceled her surgery. And, nobody has to believe these things, but if you're asking me personally, what is my drive, is that I believe in the things that I have experienced because it's my truth. And it's the truth that I've seen come alive for other people. So, I grew up like this, having this side of my family that is really in touch with that aspect. And then my father has a very logical and linear way to do things. He's very much in touch with physics, and he's a computer programmer, and he studies this deeply. So he always taught me about the tangible world, and also like how science fits into everything.
The details of the physical.
Right. So I had this very spiritual side, and then I had this other side that was very scientific
I feel
growing
that's a
up.
beautiful mix.
It's gorgeous mix.
It's
a gorgeous
like-
It is.
Fucking,
When I have
wow.
conversations with Mel, I mean, like we just vibing, like we just sit down in her.
Right.
In her
I knew it was coming.
we just sit down in her what you call it, in her living room, like
vibration
put the blue
badge,
lights
right?
on and just start talking science, because I'm a science guy. She's a little bit. She again has that sort of hybrid quality to her because she understands both sides because she came from that, and so it's always a trip talking to her. It's really fun. But yeah, so
It's a beautiful chaos.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to point out is that like these two sides, right? They're both looking at the same world.
Right.
They're both looking at the same world, and yeah, it's just amazing how two different people can
many
view the
different
same
realities.
thing. Right. The realities are different, and therefore
is-
how they interact with the realities and how they feel like they can influence the realities, or their power to influence the realities
Quantum
come from very
physics
different
right there.
places. Yeah, they come from very different places. I find that fascinating.
Just being able
Quantum
to understand that people have
entanglement.
their own reality.
Y'all keep saying reality because I was gonna mention it earlier when you was like, nobody has to believe what I'm saying, but I believe it.
Yeah, I believe
and
it
I was
too.
literally about to say it. It's your own reality, and it brought me back to the conversation Alec and I had a couple of days ago regarding this theory of basically.
What are you talking about? You're talking simulation theory?
Yeah, the simulation theory.
Right.
And
Which is-
basically, just to sum it all up, you was telling me like you literally create your own reality based off of
Right.
your experiences and what you believe in. If you can sit here and say, I saw this happen, I know this is true, that is your reality. And no one can tell you otherwise, bro. Like,
Yeah. So this is something that hopefully in a recent upcoming episode, where we talk video games with a high profile gamer. Hopefully, if we get that, we're definitely gonna be talking about simulation theory and what he thinks about it. But it's a very old idea that the most real things are our ideas, are what our mind creates. Right. It's an old, and it sounds something very matrixy, right? But and again, we're going to talk about this in another episode, but it's the old debate whether does matter create the mind or does mind create matter? So that's essentially the gist of that. We're totally going to bring that
Descartes.
and yeah, we're going to no, Descartes. No, it's as old as Plato and Democritus, bro.
Yeah, can we have a 12-hour episode? That the episode's 12 hours long and we debate this?
Yeah, no, for sure. But again, we want to get a little bit back into Mel
still
and
running
her and the healing that she does and the healing that she performs, and take us from there, from your family. Who were you before this, and then who are you after, and then guide us through that.
Well, I feel like I've always been a very sensitive person. So, ever since I was a young girl, I had extrasensory abilities and be able to tap into different realms. And this was actually encouraged by my family, because they believed in my gifts. So I had that side, and also I had a lot of different experiences, a lot of dark experiences as well with this kind of thing. But we're bringing it back all into the light. I had that side. I was always very sensitive. And because of that other scientific side, I was always very intrigued. And so when I was little, I used to say I wanted to be a doctor. I used to watch like surgical shows and things like this and be super like intrigued by that. But anyway, through my years as a teenager, I've always been very studious and on my own time, not like school shit, on some like, I am so curious about life. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. And I'm going to go and see where it leads me. And I feel like massage therapy just sort of happened in my life. I also had some traumatic experiences. I was sexually abused, and that created some really negative touch experiences for me. So for me, when I decided to go to massage therapy school, which again, it just happened naturally. People were saying to me, you should do this because you're good at it. And I would massage people, and I've always been a very affectionate person.
When was this?
This was when I was 18. So when I was 18, I decided to go to massage therapy school. I went to Swedish Institute in New York City. It's the only school in the country that gives you a degree for massage therapy. It's like a very prestigious school. Like I'm such a proud alumni of Sweden for sure. It was a 2.5-year program.
Wow. Okay.
And there I got some really intense training on like anatomy, physiology, neurology, pathology. All the things.
So you got into the sciences.
I got into the sciences.
Was that like a full-time thing? I'm really interested in that. Holy shit, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was a full-time thing. So I really delved deep. Actually, more than I fucking thought. God, I did not know it was going to be that intense.
It was going to be like, oh, fuck it.
Like, I knew there was things to learn for sure, but I felt like I was in pre-med or some shit. Like, I was just like, what is happening right now?
All those ologies.
It made me rethink this shit.
And then they had like
damn, I got to do work.
Internships, externships. It was so amazing. I got to learn about Western techniques, like Swedish deep tissue, stuff that people usually hear about when you relate to massage, sports massage, these kinds of things. But when I was in school, I fell in love with the Eastern side and the Eastern philosophy and the Eastern body work, like shiatsu, which comes from Japan, and Thai massage, tuina, these different types of modalities. And this for me was very intriguing because I feel like anatomically speaking, and I can have a very focused mind. So I understood the anatomy and all of those scientific aspects of it, but the poetic side of Eastern philosophy and how it just blows my mind. It's so old, it's so ancient. The things that they knew back then are now being proven, as far as the meridians in the body and the energy lines and how everything connects. And it's just such an amazing thing to me. The body work itself is different because, so body work, when I refer to body work in this context, I'm relating to massage. But for me, I like this word because it feels more encompassing, because massage therapy kind of has a dry feeling to me. Personally, I don't know why, but it just does. So I like this word.
Yeah, I was like, body work is probably like massage squared. Type shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like massage, you know what I'm saying? It's more than a massage.
It's more than a massage, for sure.
This is more spiritual.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. For me, we're talking about me. I don't know how everyone else uses this word, but
it flows though. It makes sense.
I like it.
Body work.
So the difference between, let's say, shiatsu or Thai massage, or a regular Swedish deep tissue session that you would get at a massage place or a spa, those are usually done on the table, and you're usually naked or close to naked underneath a sheet, and you have oil, and we perform these techniques on you, and this is really beneficial for multiple different things. Stress relief, tension, injuries,
circulation.
Sure, yeah. They're increasing flexibility,
That's
assisting.
a big one. People.
There's so many things.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it. But for me, because it's on the table, and I feel like it's not as intimate as Thai massage or shiatsu is, which is done on the floor. Okay. It is done clothed. But what I love about it, first of all, the theories and philosophies, guys, you guys should really look into this. It is really mind-blowing, just Eastern medicine in general.
There's philosophy on it?
There's philosophy, and there's theory, and there's an actual Eastern medical system.
I can't imagine what form that takes.
It's amazing.
No, because I follow, I'm into from an athlete's point of view, just from being an athlete, like I was always so intrigued in being able to diagnose myself, being able to say, all right, how can I know what's wrong with me, and how can I know what steps to take? And following a lot of like sports related people on Instagram, like this is one guy, Dr. Heenan, he's on Instagram. He sometimes he refers to different philosophies and stuff like that, and it's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that are really into this shit, like
another world,
they'll pull references from all types of different shit and be like, yo, this is he refers to Chinese medicine a lot too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty wild. You know what I'm saying? That's why I guess that's why I'm so interested in it too, because that shit's amazing to me. Honestly, the fucking body is nuts.
Is amazing. Yeah. Chinese medicine is really like blows my mind for real.
I was gonna say about the Chinese in my sport, weightlifting. They the Chinese use cupping. I don't know if you've ever had experience.
Oh, that's a Chinese thing.
No, I'm saying, but
practice?
I don't know. I mean, I know they practice it like a lot, like because they wear their athletes like out because their athletes are amazing. But they use like cupping like every week or something like that. So they'll post photos where it's just these big boulders on their back, on their chest.
Yeah.
But apparently it helps them recover.
Yeah, I was saying a lot of athletes.
A lot of athletes do that now.
But I'm saying like especially for weightlifting, it's like a big thing that they emphasize.
I think what
cupping is like the main way of recovery.
I think the principle behind that is the to bring the blood to that one area so that it, again, all the reparative processes actually kind of just bringing all those things together there. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff.
It is.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's very practical. But yeah, no, I mean, I find that super fascinating. I mean that, you know, there is another world out there, and the fact that you were exposed to that, and then you again, you're so young still. You're so young. You still have so much more to go, and like, so you went to school, and this is actually where you met Nick too, right? You met Nick there. Yeah, I don't know if you remember Nick. This is little boo thing. Yeah.
Well,
he's my boo. He's my boo, but we friends.
Your boo friends.
My
whatever,
boo friends.
Whatever, boo
Y'all
friends.
all my
Boo
boo
friends.
Yeah.
I hate names, but you know how to.
Fuck a label. Fuck a box, yo.
Fuck a label.
Fuck it.
But yeah, no. So you had great experiences there, and then you started working right after. Yeah. How was that? How was like
working
actually
out there? Like.
No, this is like right after after graduation.
So basically, okay, I fell in love with the Eastern side of everything, but you know, I've always been very thorough with my work,
right?
Anatomically speaking. But what I loved about this other perspective was that it encompassed not only the physical, which I feel like a lot of Western medicine does just focus on the physical body. Like, okay, you have tendinitis here, so we're just gonna treat it here, and then it's very segmented, I feel. Right. And what I loved about the Eastern body work and philosophy is that it's very holistic. So once I finished school, I already knew what I wanted to do, and you know, I just went for it. So I started my own practice almost right away. But then I also worked in several different places. I worked in a spa. I worked in a corporate gym. I worked more in like a chiropractic setting. I had my own office there, so I got to work with doctors. It was amazing. I learned a lot in those experiences. And at the last place I worked at a very, very high-end spa where I got to learn Thai massage. And that for me it changed my life. Because my teacher, Ryoko, she's from Japan, and if she watches this, yo, I love you. But I got a chance to train with her privately. So I had a private instructor in Thai massage for months. And just her way of seeing the world in general was so inspiring to me, but learning that body work shifted everything for me. So once I left that place, which was already like... So I think I'm about to reach my... Well, I'm about to be 26, so it's been 6 years that I've been doing body work now. I've been doing massage therapy.
Words.
It's really special to me. But
that's sort of like me with barbering too. I've been cutting hair for like 6 years.
Oh, that's dope. So I learned Thai massage from her, and then from there is actually from when I learned about Thai massage in Swedish Institute, I already knew I wanted to go to Thailand. So that was already sparked 8 years ago. And so many things just needed a line for me to be ready for that trip. Yeah. So, you know, I started working at this point. If we fast forward, like I've been working these 6 years, really devoted. You know, I really study. I really put all of my soul into this kind of work.
I was gonna say like for you to have that kind of job out the gate, it kind of says something because it's like they're trusting you. You know, someone who didn't have. I mean, you probably had some experience before you had the job.
Yeah. No,
But
I had a few other jobs before that one.
Okay, like in that industry.
Yeah, in the
Okay,
industry.
but even still, like to just have that, you know, as much experience as you had already, like that's kind of amazing. It's like it just shows the dedication you have to it.
Man, I feel
And the
so
confidence you
grateful,
have in it.
man. I really put, like I said, a lot into it, and I've had some really cool experiences. You know, I've worked for some pretty cool people. I've got to, you know, like work on presidents and celebrities and athletes and all this kind of
Deadass?
thing. Yeah, I'm dead ass.
What president?
I do have a contract of
I was about to say,
confidentiality.
NBA.
That's lit.
But I'm gonna tell you though, that shit was like a movie. It was like a movie straight up.
Wait, is it an American president?
It's not an American
Okay,
president.
that's it. That's right.
Okay.
But it's another very, very big country.
Okay.
Sheesh.
But anyway, you know, I've got to work with really amazing people, but my where am I going with this? I at this point have a practice that's sustaining me. It's sustaining me and my wife, you know, sustaining everything that I'm doing. And I feel really grateful because this is my service to the world. And
It's a
just to
beautiful
make
outlook
things
on that.
just to make
Yeah.
things clear, you know, I don't consider myself a healer. You know, I'm just a facilitator and I'm holding space for somebody to heal themselves because I do believe in each person's innate ability to heal themselves. And basically the body work itself, it really helps to unravel the layers of oneself, you know, and I don't think that we realize how touch deprived we are as a society and how
I agree with
important
that.
this is and how much for me just going to massage school and being touched helped transform my experiences and my traumas because I had negative experiences with touch.
That
So
is
I got
beautiful.
to
Which is the important
experience,
part.
yeah, I got to experience the contrast, man. And that for me was like, what? It
That
helped me
is
heal at such a
It
deep
is
level.
interesting. It's interesting how you emphasize the importance of it too, because I know you remember too. Muller will bring it up all the time. He said how there's been even a study too that the most successful teams like competition like the Warriors and shit like that, they touch each other. They have the most physical contact. So you look at teams like the Warriors and like fucking Yankees.
I think it was the
You know what I'm
Spurs
saying?
that he had used as
No,
an
it,
example.
it was a whole like they
That doesn't matter.
you know what I'm saying?
Dynasty.
But yeah, that's like a lot of
All the
successful
sports
teams. You know what I'm
dynasties,
saying? They have a
yeah.
lot of physical contact, so it just goes back to the importance of touch.
It's
feel me?
extremely important. There's been studies that have been done on babies on this that are actually kind of
Yeah,
really
I
sad
was gonna
studies.
Oh,
mention
actually,
Actually,
word.
yeah.
I was about to say, I actually learned this like probably about a couple months ago that that's why fathers hug their children with no shirt because that skin to skin contact is like essential to the relationship. I never knew that.
They actually did a study with monkeys actually, where they had an actual monkey with the kids, and then they had the like a mother, like a wire mesh mother. They had like a wire mesh mother, like, you know, instead, and they monitored the baby's development and growth and stuff like that. Drastically different. It's amazing that correlation that we see in different places, you know, with touch and stuff like that. Obviously, it's something that, you know, I mean, modern day, especially in urban settings, you know, touch is something that's like, you know, we all want our personal space kind of thing. Everything that's such a big thing
like
with
getting
us,
touched.
you know.
Well, city folk in general.
Right. Even then, like, you know, like sometimes, like, you know, when you meet someone, like, you know, like when I met some of your friends, you know, they're like, oh, I'm a hugger. Like, I'm gonna hug. Like, you had to announce that. It wasn't like when in reality when you guys see each other, it's just like you don't say anything. It's just boom. That's it. Yeah. You know, so there is a difference with that, and that does show. You know, when it comes, you know, I noticed that. I don't have so much. That's something I do want to ask though. Is like, how do we feel about touch? How do we like? How do you?
I have a funny story about that. Actually.
How do you feel about touch? Like, what's your relationship with that?
I mean,
like, are you?
I don't got a problem with it, to be honest. I feel like some actions of touch do come at certain times in a relationship. You feel me? Like, I know me personally, when I meet new women, I don't give them a hug. I shake their hand. Hey, how's it going? Maybe by the end of the night, depending on how the night went, based on conversation, then I might give them a hug. Yeah. And then I might even extend a kiss on the cheek. It really depends but that's just regarding women. As for guys,
I gotta start doing that too.
What type of woman took it? Like Spanish woman is just culture to.
Well, not even women. So I mean, let's even like
even with my
and stuff
dudes,
like that.
when I meet dudes for the first time, I usually bring them in. Like I don't have a problem bringing dudes in. You feel me? But there be some dudes who be like,
Right.
they sniff on me.
No,
and
no,
I kind
no,
of get
for
bothered.
sure.
I hate
For
that
sure,
shit because
for
I'm like,
sure.
yo, my man's bring me in, pop. Like, you feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm already calling him. I'm saying
like,
what's
what's
up,
the
my brother
problem?
already.
What's
Like,
the
I'm trying to bring it in.
We're trying to establish some sort
I'm
of.
all for touch, man. I'm all for
Some
like,
dudes you gotta
Same, yeah.
firm handshake, look him in the eye, and be like, I ain't playing, yo. How you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
Stiff.
depending on the situation is what's gonna
You gotta hit him with the.
for me. That's me though. That's my
Eyes
look.
like
That's
that.
my look. Ken, what do you got, bro?
I would say for me personally, all right. So when I was a teenager, I did jujitsu a lot, right, and wrestling in high school and stuff like that. So I'm
in your
used to
face,
being in people's personal space a lot.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like I guess I still have that habit. I really do have this problem where I violate people's personal space.
Yo,
And I don't even notice it.
he be blowing my.
And so like, and for me, it's
I
like,
can see it. I can see it. Though.
No,
I can
no,
see
it's-
it, but
it's-
it's.
Violated personal
like-
space. How?
and it's
I
not
can see it, but I don't get bothered by it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It'll
It's
be
like
like this.
like if someone did it to me, it's like something like I don't care. But like I have to
Okay.
like I don't realize sometimes that other people just don't like because they're like weirded out by it. They're like, what the fuck? Why are you so close to me, man?
Yeah,
What the fuck? Like for me, it's just like it's fine if you're close
It's
to me.
whatever.
because,
Yeah.
Like unless I don't like you, then get away from me. But I'm saying
That's
like if
definitely-
I'm that close to you anyway, I probably like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I
like,
feel you.
I've like some people have complained about that. They've been like, "Yo, man, sometimes it just can't be that close,
It's too
man."
close,
and I'm
man.
just like, "What? Like, what? It's not that big of a deal." But it is that big of
It
a deal.
is, so it is.
So I wanted to touch on something before we end this segment. You did mention that for example, like touch is one of the big things that was important for you transitioning into this, in your life, right? You were uncomfortable with it at one point, and then it changed. Massage therapy changed your life. So massage therapy, body work instilled some sort of mindset in you, right? You've changed you've evolved as a person through massage therapy. Getting to this next segment, I really do want to talk about mindset. I want to talk about lifestyle, and not lifestyle like the modern connotation, not diet, exercise, none of that. But where all that stuff starts, mindset, how the outlook on the world, because massage therapy, body work, it did change your outlook on the world, and I can see it. You have a very different mindset from everyone else that I've ever met, and
Yeah,
that's what
no
makes
joke.
you
Yeah, no
so
joke.
intriguing.
Yeah,
That's what
no
makes
joke.
you such an attractive being. That's I enjoy it. I mean, I really do. I'm really grateful, to have met you, and I'm grateful for you to be on the show. Seriously.
Thanks.
So I definitely want to start next segment on lifestyle and mindset and toxic mindsets also. Like what people are doing wrong out there. What have you learned? All right.
All right, and for this next song, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it because I
Calcania.
asked during the break, and I'm not even trying to disrespect the artist or the name. So if you want to take us out with this song, please.
Calcania. This is my song.
Okay.
I love this song. I don't even know how. I'm not gonna butcher it either. Let's just
Good
play the
idea.
song.
Is it con C-O-N-C?
Acho que é com C. I think so.
Is another Brazilian song?
Yeah, it's another
Yeah, all the
Brazilian
Brazilian
song.
files are gonna know.
Well, it's gonna be in the description, guys.
That
Y'all
Brazilian
want to check
energy
it out, all
is
right?
so good.
All right, enjoy this.
Chega pra cá, vem cá, que eu quero te mostrar como se ama, como é a chama de meu bem, neném de alguém que te quer sem esse pijama. Quando tu quiser chegar pra ver como se faz fogo, me chama.
Hey, yo. One time. Welcome back to the goddamn check box, guys. And for those joining us, that was I'm gonna try to say this. All right.
We believe
that
in you.
was Calcañar by Conce.
It's an H.
Boy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, man. That's how it was pronounced.
Yes.
Feel me?
In
that's a
Portuguese, the NH makes a nya sound.
Oh, I didn't know you told me the
Ah,
correct.
yeah.
I didn't know. I thought he was just.
Yeah, no.
Cacanha.
Cacanhaba con C. Okay.
Wait.
Word. And for once again, those joining us, we have Mel back on the set. Okay, 7 episodes later. Feel me? She's here telling us about her wonderful trip to Asia, her experience, from food to the weather to the roads to just energy she was feeling to the breathtaking shots, the dangerous hikes, to the courses she was taking for her body work. You know what I'm saying? She's a massage therapist for about 6-7 years now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay, where she was telling us stories about her high-end experience, you know what I'm saying? Starting from the low, getting out of school, freaking massaging presidents from other countries here. So it's been a pretty dope conversation. And now we're going to get into the lifestyle of things. Alec mentioned that, massage therapy really puts you in a different mindset and the power of touch. As Mel mentioned, she had a very negative connotation with touch through some traumatic experiences. And now that has been completely reversed through massage therapy. And we're going to dive deep into that. And so how about you start with the mindset that all right, so now you can either start with the mindset you're in now or where you were before and then how that sort of changed through your experience with massage therapy. I think that'll be better, right?
Yeah.
So sort of start where you were before, like your headspace.
Just a little journey,
Yeah. We're here.
Actually, I haven't taken the time to really reflect so much on where my mindset was before. I do know that when I did start massage therapy school, I was very depressed because I had spoken up about this sexual abuse that happened in my life, and I told my family about it, and it just didn't go the way I think I had expected it to, and that whole experience was very traumatic for me. So it really was a catalyst for me to go deeper into my spiritual journey because I didn't feel safe with my family. So I really, really ventured off at that point on my soul searching kind of experience. And since that time, I've had really intense and beautiful, transformative healing and spiritual experiences that I feel like have shaped and molded me into who I am today. And it wasn't without all of the deep shadow underworld kind of work. I really feel that the last years I have really, really explored my shadows. And that's an important point to bring up, I think, because we've all been through our own traumatic experiences, and there's so many things that are happening around us, and especially if you think about it collectively and globally in the world, what's happening when you feel pain deeply, it connects you to all of the other pains in the world. And
if you allow yourself to be receptive to that pain,
right?
Yeah.
And I'm also a very empathetic person,
Right.
so I feel like feeling this pain deeply, and I've allowed myself to feel pain very deeply. I think that allowed for that space was created with that pain and has now created the capacity for me to also feel light very deeply and joy and happiness very deeply. And I think that in general, if I were to, describe how I feel or what is the sensation inside of my body on a daily basis, I feel that a lot of compassion. I feel like I'm a very compassionate person and a very grateful person. And I don't know if there's any questions about any of that because there's so many ways that we can go,
Kenneth, go ahead, bro.
I don't know if this question is too hard or anything, but was there any element of shame after you told them? So was it rather than showing you support, did they try to shame you and make it your fault? Because I've heard that from my own friends who've experienced something like that. They've been afraid to tell their family because they feel like they'll be shamed, or they know for a fact they will be. Or is that what you experienced?
Yeah, I did.
Or anything similar?
Yeah, I did. I was told that it was my fault. That I provoked the situations.
Yeah, provoke is a big thing I've heard.
A lot of them blamed it on me not being religious enough. you know, it's like everyone had their opinions about it, and I forgive them, and I feel compassion because I know that
That's a tough thing to hear.
Their own
it's
realities
just,
too.
it's their reality.
Yeah.
But I also have learned that, man, that was really a really tough time. It was really a tough time because I was 18, you know, and I really felt like they were going to support me. I didn't have in my mind that it would be the opposite. I'm not saying that nobody in my family supported me. My mom, my father, my sisters, like I have certain people that were like, I'm here for you.
That's good. That's good.
But I think the people that weren't, it just shocked me.
Yeah.
And it also is like when you put something out there like that, it is putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? So for example, like when it does happen to you, if it is between you and the person that, you know, perpetrated, right? It stays in that. And I know for a lot of things that happen with me, you know, like if there's something like, you know, negative that happens between me and another person, that's not gonna, you know, if I don't say it, it's not gonna be real to anyone else, kind of thing. So you know, that is one way of you know, one way of living is sort of facing those things and putting it out there into the world. And also, you know, touching on, we might be jumping a little bit, but one thing that I got from you is that you're very receptive as a person, right? You take in a lot. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are not receptive. And there are plenty of good things to be, plenty of good things to receive from the world. But when you're receptive, there's not really discrimination that happens. So you take in all the good and all the bad. And I feel like my opinion on why people might not be as receptive is because they have to face those negative things, not only from other people, but also be receptive to your own self, kind of thing. And, you know, it goes in with facing yourself and other people as well. I know it's a little bit of a loaded question, but how do you feel people should go about mindset-wise with receptivity? Should they be afraid of it? Should they embrace it? Should they own up to it, kind of thing? Like that's, I don't know if it's a bit of a loaded question, but I think it was an important one that I thought.
Thank you so much for asking that question. It's a very powerful question. And I feel like it's very complex, but very simple at the same time. And if I were to reflect on my own experience, I think it really comes down to courage for me, because it is going to be painful and it is going to be scary to open up your sensibility to everything that is, especially all that we are as human beings and all of our experiences and everything that we've been through. And there were times that I was so afraid of the feelings that were coming up or the things that I was looking at about myself, about the things I've experienced, but sometimes mostly just about me, like my shadows, like confronting the things that I thought were ugly, that I didn't like about myself. And what helped me through it, you know, is that courage. Not that you have to, but for me, it was like I am fearless in this moment. And I had a lot of people that helped me through it. I also have mentors, spiritual mentors that helped me through this process, and people that I went to receive healing. And I think that we're not meant to do things alone. And it's important for us to have, you know, this team around you of support. And if you don't have it, you can create that shit. And I know that for a fact. And if anyone that's listening to this and you're going through a hard time and you're feeling alone, you're not alone. But the first thing, before I was even able to manifest the people that I now have in my life that create this sense of like, man, I feel so supported right now, but I didn't have that at one point. And at one point, I felt so alone. I felt like nobody understood me. And I only had myself. So it does take that courage to firstly look at yourself, open yourself up to everything, and to feel everything deeply and move through that healing process. And as you start to align yourself more with all that you are and not rejecting the parts of yourself that you don't like, but coming into contact with it and embracing it, I feel like the more you become in alignment with yourself, the more that you start to broadcast that sort of frequency for the right people to come into your life. And then you start to build your support system. And this is it, you know, like.
And I think I like that, you know, that idea of first owning yourself and being okay with yourself. And in this society we're told to do a lot of things. We're told to feel a lot of things. We're literally guided in every step of what should be a personal process. Your wants, your desires, they're all dictated to us at some certain level. Understand that, guys. Like, it really is. Really meditate on that. Everything that you like, for the most part, has been made for you to like. Okay? Now, when you start to own what really is yours, right? Your personal desires, what you want. This is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Radiate that to the people around you. Let it be infectious. Let other people, feel okay to like what they like despite what other people, feel about that around them. And as I get older, I feel like it's getting more and more, like, I feel more and more okay with it. I'm feeling more and more at peace with myself. I'm very different from other people. And every day I'm getting better at being okay with it. Yeah. I mean, I've never not been okay with it, but I'm getting better at being okay. You feel me? Like, I was never like rejecting myself. But
No, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about,
Right.
because so it's crazy that before the episode I was telling him, I was like, a lot of things I've been thinking about keep popping up, and so it's just been interesting too that you talk about how you went through that. You told your family, and a lot of them weren't supportive, and that's something a lot of people have gone through. Maybe not that exact situation, but going into something where it's something very important to you, something very drastic in your life. You're like, all right, this situation, you're like, all right, I need support here. I need something to help me, and boom, you don't get it. So you could have went 2 ways, and you started going that way a little bit when you started feeling alone. And you're like, all right, I need to go venture by myself. And to me, the great thing about you is that, look at your outlook on life now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are, like, sad to say, but, like, that could make a lot of people suicidal.
And I was.
Something,
and I was.
yeah. So, you feel me? Which is crazy. So, look at the spectrum you're on now. You feel me? So, which to me just shows the truth in that. You know what I'm saying? Which is important for a lot of people. But, as far as finding yourself, so, when you went on that journey, when you decided, all right, I got to do this by myself, was it like a thing like, I need to learn how to live with myself? Was that what you were trying to find? Were you trying to find the way to live with yourself? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how I'm getting that off the right way. Kind of learning how you don't need to depend on other people type shit. I don't know how to say how I'm trying to say it, but because that's kind of something I've been, because you know how you said, I've been more comfortable being myself.
Right.
The way it's been in my head is, for me lately, it's kind of like, I realize shit that I do that might bother other people, shit like that. Like, I'm just realizing myself more now, right? I'm realizing my presence more in the world now, right? Right?
How
like
you affect? You mean
how
you affect the people around you, kind of thing.
All type of things, and I'm starting to, like, I feel like lately I've been loving myself a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Learning. I feel like I'm meeting myself. You know what I'm saying? And learning a lot more about myself. It's basically the same shit you're doing. You just said it a different way.
Right.
You're experiencing. You think you're experiencing it in a different way. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is.
For sure.
So for me, it's me. I'm trying to. There's a lot of things I don't like about myself too.
Right.
But
and it's important. It's important to understand those.
That. Yeah.
And to know the difference between something that is a toxic aspect of yourself versus something that's that's just me kind of thing.
A toxic aspect in the sense that's detrimental to me and people around me.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That whole "it's just me" shit. That shit gets me so fucking tight. I hate that. This dude right here, all the time. Yo, bro, just don't. You know what I'm saying? Just, if you can, just try to. Yo, bro, but that's just me. And I'm like, yo, perp, but like, you can't.
I was stubborn too, bro. I mean, it's all around the table. To be honest, bro, it really is all around the table.
But also too, it also another thing. So recently, I've realized that stems from me. I noticed that when I do that, it's crazy, son. Yo, this is nuts. I've been thinking about this lately. Yeah. I realized when I do shit like that, it's because I have no real reason, and that's a trigger. That's a trigger, bro. But listen. I don't have a real reason, but it's a trigger from when I was younger to. It's something I would do when I was younger to just kind of dead shit. You feel me? And it's a habit. Right. You feel me? And I noticed that with my parents too. When my parents, like, sometimes, like, when I was younger, right? if my parents were calling me and it was after like fucking 8, it was for one reason. Where the fuck you at? Da-da-da.
Right.
Now, I'm fucking 22 now. Like it doesn't matter. My mom if my mom is calling me, it's because she's like, yo, so you want to talk to me?
Right.
It's so much of a habit for me that when she calls me, it's like, oh my god, where you niggas at? Her and my dad, that's my reaction.
Yeah.
She just want to talk to me, but it's the habit. And I try to talk to them. I was like, listen, it's both our faults. It's y'all fault for only calling me to fucking bitch at me, and it's my fault for like still holding on to that. You know what I'm saying? But me learning about myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to realize that now. So now when I get the call and I'm like, out of habit, oh shit, all right, man, you know, just chill. Then I'm back and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But learning about yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's fucking great, man.
I actually noticed in this whole conversation, I'm not sure if this would apply to you in your scenario, being that you sort of felt alone, but I feel like you started to notice these things, bro, because you noticed it in yourself because it was being exploited to you. You had us three telling you, like, yo, this and that, this and that.
It took a while. It took a while for it to resonate real quick.
Because you know what it is. I think you would have scenarios outside of us four, and you realize you're doing the same shit that you did to us three in this scenario, and now you're like, yo, damn, like now I see what Chec, Alec, and Ken was talking about.
And different people react differently.
You feel me? Right. So now back to you, like, did you have people sort of exploiting these flaws that you accepted and got over, or you literally it was just like a self dive into your, like, you feel me? Am I making sense?
Was it easy to identify?
Was it easy? Yeah, or like was it in your face and you were just like oblivious and just hard headed, like, no, that's just me type shit?
So this is also a complex question, but it's not. It's so simple. Everyone is our reflection, you know. Everyone is our mirror, and everyone is our teacher. So I always see myself in other people, and I think my main motivating force at that time, in the beginning of this deep spiritual journey, was wanting to learn about myself. Right. That's my main. Actually, still to this day, that's what inspires me so much. I just want to learn. I want to learn because there's a whole universe inside of here, and inside of each one of you guys. And it's so easy for us to fall back onto our habits. So I feel compassion for you because I too, we all go through this. You know, we have our habitual ways, and when somebody reflects that to us, we get defensive. And this is something that, with more increased awareness, because it's taken a lot of time for me to increase my receptivity to the point that I have, and it's going to continue developing. But to be able to have this mindset where you're able to have like this 0 point consciousness, like you're looking at things from a neutral space, not anymore reacting from your past experiences, and now coming from this empty space and being able to now create your reality the way that you want it. And actually, I noticed that this changed everything for me, because I was reacting to people in my family and my friends from these past experiences. But if you think about it, all that exists is right now. Those past experiences just are memories. It's not real.
You're letting the past form your present.
Right.
Yep. Right.
So now, like, actually, my wife helped me a lot with this, because she'd like, you know, how about you just be open to a different possibility? And in my mind, I was so stuck on that old shit that I was like, nah, that person's always going to have that kind of reaction. That person's always going to be that way. And then once I literally just said to myself, you know what? What if they could be different?
Test it. Yeah.
Right.
People started changing, bro. Like, people around me started changing.
Because you were thinking different, too.
You know what I found also? I'm sorry to cut you off. So I look at people and I try to study. So people try to find their way around society in different ways, right? Try to understand the people around them different ways. I usually take a more, sit back and watch and really take in. I try to understand why people do the things that they do. Try to understand also myself. Why do I do the things that I do? The habitual things. What is the core why I'm doing this? When it comes to relationships with people, when it comes to habits that I do every day, is this something that I was taught? Is this something that I truly want to do? This goes back into my real wants and desires versus things that are made for us. Really trying to get to the core of all that. When you understand why people do the things that they do, not saying that you should go ahead and start manipulating people, but you can really create the environment that you want around you. And depending on how you want to use it, you can use it constructively to help other people to find their own autonomy, right? Or, you can be manipulative and stuff like that. I try to do the more, constructive thing.
No, I'm not gonna lie though. Like, when you think someone gonna do some shit different, they really will, man. Because I've been testing that for like the past couple of months, and yo, shit is crazy,
It's
man.
amazing
because
what you can do.
I literally try to avoid certain scenarios to avoid a certain outcome that I know will happen because I've been through it. But then I will just be like, yo, check, like, it's gonna happen. Do it anyway. You never know what's gonna happen. Next thing you know, boom, the opposite happens, and like,
We just have all
shit
these
is-
preconceptions.
You feel me? Yeah, the
holding us back.
preconceptions
Holding
is
us
what
back.
kills us. And I'm a big believer on, yo, fuck the past. It is what it is. Don't let that shit affect you. But then again, it's so hard to take your own advice because I find myself sitting here thinking what the fuck happened 2.5 months ago, and something similar is happening right now, and I'm like, yo, damn, like, oh, this is bothering me. This is why I don't want to do this, because this happened before. And it's like, when the fuck am I ever gonna get rid of that thought? You feel me? That shit, it kind of blows mine, to be honest. And I beat myself up about it a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still trying to get over that hump. And that shit is tough though, man.
Aw,
It really
don't
is.
beat up
Low key,
on
low key.
yourself. No, I feel that, and I, the past is valuable though. It's not about throwing it away, but it's more like extracting the wisdom from it instead of
Exactly. Learning
just
from it.
sulking in the trauma and the drama and the.
Where's the lesson in it?
Easier said than done, but
Right.
Right.
But I actually wanted to touch on that point once more because it's so powerful to me, because I started to notice that people started to change around me because I was identifying with the highest potential inside of them instead of their past experiences and their past behaviors. And I noticed that people appreciate that so much. Like, people don't like to be associated with aspects of themselves that they're ashamed of all the time, and like to feel like, oh, this person's already expecting this kind of behavior from me, you know. It feels good, it feels refreshing when someone comes to you and they already are seeing you in your highest light. They see like
Or
creator
see the
in
potential,
you,
or see the untapped potential.
Right.
Or have you
and
ever
this is
gotten-
what I try to do with every person, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing when you can see the potential in someone and you try to. Have you ever had a negative experience when you tried to do that? When someone reacted with you in a way that you might not have wanted it, you know, or they might not have. They might not have felt okay with, you know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like a negative experience with that, with someone else.
Yeah, I think, well, definitely. I've had, especially with my family, you know, because I think that people are so used to their habits, and I have such a different perspective, and I've developed just a very different texture to me that I feel like sometimes people don't know what to do with it. You know, like I approach them and they're like, what the fuck do I do?
Well, they've never
with that?
encountered that before, and that's the
Right.
thing. It's
From
like,
a
how do
genuine
you
place.
right? And the thing is that a lot of times, and we talked about this last time when we were at the crib. You know, it's like, you know, if someone doesn't know, or if they've never encountered something like that before, they're gonna associate that with the closest thing that they know, and a lot of times they'll misconstrue, you know, sorts of ideas about what you're trying to do. You know, and so I feel you there. Not completely. I really do.
Yeah, and then, you know, sometimes they went sideways, but and those were difficult for me because it, you know it's hard when you're coming from a genuine space and you're trying to like create the best outcome and it's just not happening. You're like,
It's
fuck,
just a
man.
blow.
Happens all the time.
But you know, is again coming back with that, extracting the wisdom from that, and that is our, like, for
And
me,
patience.
these situations is my training sessions, because it's so easy to flow when people and you are vibing, right? Like, you're feeling good. Even when you're meditating or when you have your spiritual practice, it's so easy to be in this high vibe. But when is the real nitty-gritty training happening? It's happening when you're in conflict with people, when you're experiencing these difficult conversations. So instead of me having this outlook and being pissed and like, I might go through those emotions too, but it's a very fast turnover time where like I'll feel whatever I have to feel, but I go straight to, okay, what was this training for? Like, am I training intolerance, patience, forgiveness, compassion, empathy? Like, what am I now applying to this? Acceptance?
Extrapolating the lesson from
Right.
those everything.
Like, because how am I evolving myself in this situation? Because I can't make myself, it's a big part of my practice in my life is shifting from this state or mentality of being a victim of my life and being the creator of my life. You know, because I'm not no pawn in this life. You know, fuck that. For real, guys. Like, ain't nobody up in this room. We ain't gonna be no pawns and just be like played like with toys, because it's how we, guys, it's how we are for real. If you think about the external experiences, we just allow all of our emotions and all of the things that happen in our life to just control us like puppets. Like,
and for those things to be controlled as well, you know, it's just layers of control. It's layers.
Programs, you know? So
it really
fuck
is.
that.
It really is.
We out here to create our own reality, you know, break away from all that.
Yeah.
And create what you want.
You know what's crazy though? After hearing this whole conversation for like the past hour and a half, now I can see how you got through the whole polyamory thing. And now I can understand why you tried what you tried, why you did what you did, why you trusted your wife with shit, why you took those chances, and like seeing where your mindset was prior to that and how you got there, like it makes so much more sense now.
Yeah, it
It's
makes
like
sense. You came to a certain place within yourself first before you even
decided to even
or
get into
or
it.
even also too, like, you didn't need to go through that until you went through your own experience first. You get what I'm saying? And I think that was the biggest takeaway, especially what I got from it first, is like, because that was something I was always interested in, like, not that I was like, I want to go do it, but more like I just want to learn more about it. And basically what it taught me, and just not only related to that, but just in life, like, find yourself first. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those things will present themselves when you yourself can flourish and benefit us, you know what I'm saying, from a situation like that. You know what I'm saying? You want to help, like, what's the shit that Biggie said? Whatever, you want to help the world, you got to help yourself. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
But literally, yeah.
You mean Bob Marley?
Or Bob Marley.
Michael Jackson said it too. He said, if you want to change
A
the world,
lot
you
of
gotta look in the
masters
mirror
said that
first.
shit.
everybody.
Different languages, different ways.
Either, yeah,
Michael Jackson
you know what I'm
said
saying?
that.
But that's been, I feel like that's
Doesn't
been the
matter.
biggest, that's been like the theme of my life recently. You know what I'm saying? You got to help yourself.
I feel like
first.
that's a very common theme amongst our generation, especially right now in this age gap of like 22 to like 26.
Yeah, but people confuse it with being selfish.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a fact.
Yeah,
I mean,
people,
that's,
a lot of people. I think, and I
man,
think, but I think that,
self-love.
and I think the mainstream thing too, cause sometimes it's like selfishness. You know what I'm saying? When you see people
All
like
right.
fucking flexing and shit like that. No, I'm saying, but it is what it is. But I think it's just putting yourself in a position where you can make others better. You know what I'm saying? I think just living for other people.
And it starts, and you're right. It does start with yourself at that.
No, yeah.
In that sense, or at least you have to be at some. Your mind has to be in the right place. You might not have to have everything figured out, because I don't think we're ever going to be done figuring ourselves out.
Nope.
But at least be on that journey. At least be on that path, and have the right people around you. Like you said, the
Absolutely.
support system is absolutely necessary. You need to keep yourself on track. Unfortunately, and I'm real with myself with this, I don't have the discipline for certain things, and the people around me do keep me on track with that. But one thing that I wanted us to all talk about, I know we talked about before, the importance of gratitude, the importance of being gracious about everything and being thankful for everything, and when around you radiate that sense of gratefulness. Like, you've constantly thanked us, for us having you here and stuff like that. Even though it really went both ways. Like, it means a lot. So how important is gratitude in life? Showing gratitude, practicing gratitude. How do you practice gratitude, and how does the opposite, the sense of entitlement that everyone has, that I feel is just toxic as fuck out there. It really is. That how.
I do want to hear that,
Yeah.
but I do want to let us know that we do have a short amount of time. So
All right.
you feel me? Like, this is a perfect ending.
Right.
This
It
is
is.
a
I
perfect
think it's
ending,
a
like
beautiful
segue,
thing.
because this is gratitude. Essentially, what, like he said, is mutual here.
Right.
So yeah, talk. What's
Yeah.
up?
I'm practicing gratitude right now.
I feel
Thank you so much, for real. Gratitude has completely eradicated so many limiting thoughts and beliefs in my body and my whole being, and it's something that I practice on a daily basis. And there's several ways to practice this. This could be a whole fucking podcast on itself about gratitude.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it is something that I feel so deeply, and I allow that feeling of gratitude to really resonate through my whole body. And I feel like this has created joy in my life that I have never thought was possible. Like, I am so fucking happy, yo. Like, I really am grateful for it all. I'm grateful for everything. So thank you.
Awesome.
I don't really... I hope that you can just feel that, you know,
I felt that shit, word.
because, you know, there's so much I can say about it, but it's important that we just feel it. So if I could leave you guys with just one thing,
Please.
you know, if you can really every single day sit down with that feeling of gratitude in your body, you know, and allow that to extend towards your day and feel it as often as you can. There's so many fucking things to be grateful for, man. Like, there's so many things. We just go through our life, we don't realize, but there's so many beautiful things happening. So, and the more you feel that shit, the happier you're gonna be.
Absolutely.
And the more lit your life is gonna be.
That's a fact.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely got to second everything she just said, man. I mean, you gotta, feel me? Oh, that was beautiful. I ain't gonna front. You kind of, like, when you was like, I'm so happy, I felt that. Like, I looked right at you. I saw all the emotion. I'm like, yes, I feel you.
It was so much
I
happy. I
feel
couldn't
you.
handle those. You know,
I hope y'all felt that.
happiness.
I gotta look away. So many,
like,
so much.
goddamn.
Nah, but for those,
It is beautiful, and I think we all just, I mean, we show gratitude in our own ways, but I
Absolutely.
think stepping it up a notch doesn't hurt either. You know what I'm
Step
saying?
that shit up.
Yeah, I mean,
Step
it
it
really
up.
just practice. I mean, we're all here. Don't think you're here on your own accord. You're here and you're succeeding because of other people. You know, it's just a fact. And we like to pretend like, oh, no one did it but me type shit. You know, that whole mentality
I hate that
type shit. Yeah, it's like, oh, no
to our parents,
no
our
one did it. You know,
I
it's
can
like,
think of a few people like that.
you know, it's like, no, bro, like you, like, you know, it's, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
that whole mentality,
definitely.
like, no, I got this.
Self-made.
I'm saying, no, you're not self-made. You know,
Give gratitude.
there's a whole world that's behind you, that you, the shoulders that you're stepping on. I mean, that you're standing on right now, and thank them. You know,
Absolutely.
And yeah, I don't know how much time we have.
Nah, we're actually about to wrap it up right
Yeah.
now, man. Melissa, I don't
Thank you,
even
guys.
know. Mel.
Thank
I like
you.
Intuitive Vibes.
Thank you.
Once again, guys, you can follow her at intuitive.vibes with a Z. Was that correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
We'll
You
have
already-
it like text and
Facts,
stuff.
facts. You already know where to find my guy Ken at underscore in every color. Alec at Alec with the K underscore Sergio HP at HPen 730, and your boy at CHEC underscore 7. And of course, the checkbox on all platforms: SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. We are all at the checkbox. That is THECHECBOX, guys. And we're gonna have Chan take you out with "Feel This Way." Enjoy.
This way.